Welcome back, travelers. While the world out there is endlessly scrolling through distractions, the watchers are moving, the elites are scheming, and the veil continues to tear just a little more each week. Now, here are the top 3 stories of the week. We are Pilgrim's Great Chronicles. Every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do our top 3 stories of the week. And this week we are going to, of course, which is why I have this mysterious music playing, go over the fascinating pyramid story that everybody is talking about. We're also going to go over Elon Musk at the Pentagon and discuss some of these devastating weather phenomenon that we've experienced here, especially in the Southeast lately. So, by now, there's no way, if you are somebody who listens to this podcast, that you have not heard about the new pyramid discovery. It's under the middle pyramid. And it is an amazing find. If their interpretations of the radar are correct, it is an incredible discovery, and it's fascinating. I can see why people are highly interested in it. And I wanted to take a little bit of time here. I'm going to play an audio clip here in a minute, but before I do, it is important to note that we could be experiencing history here as one of the biggest discoveries of our lifetime. And the weird thing is it doesn't seem like anybody in the mainstream media is really talking about it much. It's most of us who are out there in the alternate media that is really where most people are turning to news now, because they know that reporters are either literally CIA agents, or they are people that are so controlled by the CIA that it's not even news. It's just propaganda on TV. So, without rehashing everything you've probably already heard, you already know that they're using advanced synthetic aperture radar, Doppler tomography. You've heard the descriptions of it. It's done from satellites. And you know that they have found some sort of massive underground complex under the Great Pyramids, specifically the center one of Khufu. And what they've discovered, of course, is your 8 vertical cylinder shafts, roughly 648 meters deep, arranged with what is either spiral walkways descending down into the earth on top of these enormous 80 meter by 80 meter cubes. And it all appears to be a deliberate geometric design. And I don't think there's any way from the experts reading this radar we could say they're just natural formations at this point. So this really does seem to validate long-held narratives like, and theories like I've had and others have had, that the pyramids, I mean, at this point it's really ridiculous to say they were tombs, unless, perhaps the tomb aspect of it is maybe, I think I heard, I can't remember who I was listening to today. It might have been the Confessionals, mentioning the idea that perhaps these mummies that they would have entombed in certain places, that perhaps they were persuaded by those who helped them build these structures, these pharaohs and whatnot, that would be mummified and so on. Maybe perhaps they felt like the energy coming from this pyramid in some later day or whatever would perhaps restore their body, like a flash of light, or because we know, yes, I think it was the Confessionals, because I remember telling them in the video that they made that because they brought up the Shroud of Turin and how the image in the Shroud of Turin, which only penetrates like 1 or 2 microfibers, was made by some sort of very, very brief 40 nanosecond or less flash of intense light radiation of some sort. And it came after the bloodstains. They know all of these things, and you can, if you go and look through our videos, you'll see we did a whole video on the Shroud of Turin, which either you believe it's just a bunch of series of very specific, random, circumstantial things that all point to it being, the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. But anyway, the important aspect of it I'm bringing up, there's some sort of light energy involved there, and perhaps this pyramid produced some sort of light energy or energy of some sort that maybe the pharaohs were taught or told they would be resurrected. There are other theories out there too, like I got to thinking with the way the structure is developed and with the idea of as above so below, perhaps if there's an entire city below there, like some of the ones I'm going to play a clip here for you that they're discussing in one of their most recent communications, the team that's studying this. But I got to thinking, what about, Agartha or Shambhala, what if the energy not only is produced above ground from the pyramid, but it also takes energy from the atmosphere above and sends it below. So you have the whole as above, so below, and so on and so forth. And because we know there are many, many writings, ancient writings in various cultures that discuss some sort of culture that lives underground. And maybe this is one way we're discovering that. I'm just conjecturing, just like anybody else, but maybe, this provides them with light and power and energy and heat, or in some way that we haven't discovered yet, because there's still stuff even below the discovery of what they found. So I'm going to play a 5-minute clip, and this is the official press release of the massive underground structure finding at the Giza Plateau from the Khafre Pyramid Project. So let's give this a listen. Let me set this up real quick. Okay, here we go.
Press release. Giza. Discovery of an underground city. The legendary Amenti. Good evening and welcome to Expedition, the official channel of the Khafre Project. This is announcement number 2, and as the head of communications for the research project, I will now read to you the official press release of the Khafre Project, which has just been distributed to both Italian and international media. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great enthusiasm that we officially announce today our research team has succeeded in identifying a vast underground city beneath the Giza Plateau, which corresponds to the legendary Amenti. This city is mentioned in ancient texts as a place linked to the universal knowledge of humankind and its ultimate spiritual transformation. This extraordinary achievement has been made possible through the processing of SAR data obtained from Capella space satellites. A pioneering technological approach to archaeology. The uniqueness of this discovery lies not only in its immense historical and archaeological significance, but also in the innovative method employed. Thanks to ultra-high azimuth resolution radar imaging achieved through specialized spotlight acquisitions with long Doppler integration, we have been able to extract precise acoustic information. In particular, the satellite data has been processed using a groundbreaking technique, Doppler tomography, developed by Professor Filippo Biondi, an internationally renowned expert in synthetic aperture radar, interferometry, and multichromatic tomographic analysis. This patented methodology enables the creation of three-dimensional reconstructions of underground structures, allowing the identification of corridors, chambers, and tunnels extending several kilometers beneath the surface. These new archaeological findings could redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown and unexplored subterranean structures. The research team. A discovery of this magnitude has only been possible thanks to the contributions of a multidisciplinary team of internationally renowned experts. Dr. Nicole Ciccolo, a forensic handwriting expert with over 25 years of experience in civil and criminal investigations. She has worked with numerous Italian prosecutors and authored significant forensic analyses. Her expertise in deciphering ancient manuscripts has been crucial in interpreting certain symbols identified at the site. Professor Filippo Biondi, a specialist in radar technology and satellite imaging, with experience at the University of Strathclyde, UK, the Italian Space Agency, and the National Research Council. He is currently one of the world's leading experts in the development of SAR processing algorithms, with applications in space archaeology. Dr. Armando May, a historian and Egyptologist specializing in the study of pre-dynastic civilizations. He has conducted archaeological field research in Egypt and collaborated with numerous international academic institutions. His theories on the correlation between underground structures and the myth of Zeb-Tepi have guided the team's investigations. Professor Corrado Malanga, head of the research project, a chemist and former researcher at the University of Pisa, with a long-standing career in the study of consciousness and the phenomena related to perception of reality. His expertise has enabled the development of new interpretative models for analyzing the discovered structures. The support of Capella Space, a new frontier for archaeology. This demonstrates how the integration of space technology and historical research can overcome the limitations of traditional archaeological investigations, allowing us to map the subsurface of Giza without invasive excavations. Capella Space's SAR satellites, capable of producing radar images with centimeter-level resolution, have made it possible to generate highly precise acoustic images of Giza's underground, finally revealing to humanity the existence of the halls of Amenti. Project presentation events. To provide an in-depth look at this extraordinary discovery, the CAFR Research Project SR Technology has organized 2 exclusive conferences, both to be held at the Hotel Castello Artemide Congressi, Viale Terme 1010/B, 40024 Castel San Pietro Terme BO, Italy. March 15th, 2025. Seats still available. A press conference for accredited journalists only, which will be held both in person and remotely. All relevant documentation for journalists can be found via the link in the description of this video. March 16th, 2025. Event sold out. The official technical conference, featuring the research team.
Okay, we get the idea. We don't need to hear about press conferences. So that was their official press release on that. And so I guess we all need to dig out our crusty old books and do some research on Amenti and find out what the deal is with that city, because that is what they claim they may have discovered here, and as well as the possibility of still the energy device resonance structures, or possibly some sort of dimensional travel above ground, below ground, or other places. It's all just very fascinating. I know I'm going to dig in and see what I can find out about the ancient legendary cities that they're referencing in that press release. It should be really interesting. So, and if you know anything about our series on the Watchers and stuff, then you know the stones are starting to speak and letting you know that, the world is only getting stranger. And so we need to know what is going on. So moving on to story 2, Elon Musk at the Pentagon, tech prophet or Trojan horse? He had a visit to the Pentagon this week, and it's raised serious questions in intelligence and national security circles. Originally scheduled for a top-secret briefing on potential military conflict with China, the meeting was downgraded to unclassified after internal concerns over conflict of interest. Now, why would they do that? Well, Tesla is deeply embedded in China with massive manufacturing and government partnerships. SpaceX, on the other hand, is one of the U.S. military's top contractors, providing rocket and satellite technology through its Starlink network, which could control future battlefield communications. Neuralink and XAI, Grok, if you want to call it that, Musk's brain interface and AI ventures are being pitched as the next stage of human evolution. That's the kind of language the Watchers have used since Eden. It's just a rephrasing of the language for modern technology. So now you've got a guy who's controlling space infrastructure, leading the charge in AI and transhumanism, and just sitting in closed-door meetings about U.S. war plans. What could go wrong? And he's being handed the keys to both sides of the East-West conflict. That's a great idea. So the question isn't necessarily whether Elon is a genius. The question is, whose future is he building? Ours or somebody else's or his? I mean, it's obvious all of these things to me are eventually leading and conditioning us to get ready for some form of one world government. That is what I think. And they'll just keep moving in that direction, one bold step at a time. And I imagine the type of propaganda they will use for all of this will leave most people cheering it on as if it's just the most awesome thing since Rocky Road ice cream. So now on to this story 3 about tornado devastation across the U.S. There's been at least 36 people dead. Violent tornadoes that tore through Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, and my home state of Tennessee, leaving behind miles of destruction. These weren't normal storms. Even seasoned meteorologists were stunned by their speed, intensity, and erratic movement. So what's going on? Some tornadoes spawn with almost no warning, striking at night with deadly force. Massive dust storms and blinding debris fields created almost zero visibility zones, triggering multi-car pileups, and whole towns were completely flattened. Entire neighborhoods are gone. I've seen the drone footage. It looks like somebody took a giant rolling pin and flattened out entire forests and entire population centers. The official explanation, of course, is and always will be, because this is their narrative, climate change. But let's be honest, the patterns and the scale and the timing suggest something else. And it just looks to me like this is geoengineering on steroids, or maybe weather warfare testing. Anybody who isn't aware that the government has been geoengineering and controlling weather at least since the Vietnam War needs to get their head out of the sand, because they've been doing it for a long time now. I read people all the time poo-pooing the idea and saying it's ridiculous and so on and so forth. They just don't know the information, and maybe I need to do a show on it so you can see all the connections and all the things. Like flooding areas of Vietnam by cloud seeding to disrupt troop movements. I promise you they were doing that, and I'll get the data for you if you guys want me to do a show on it. Which isn't to say necessarily every single storm is engineered, but it just seems like some of these are pinpointed and stronger than normal and very odd. And so, with that being said, that is our top 3 stories of the week. And when I report news, I'm not just giving you news. They're signals, and it's signals that this ongoing war is escalating. And you've got ancient knowledge resurfacing, and all it tells us is that the return of the king is near, right? And so next week on Pilgrim's Great Chronicles, we'll have part 3 of our ongoing series of who they are and what their tactics are. And this will bring us into the modern era, and I'm going to give examples of that you can relate to in our day and age, the various technologies being used and the various tactics they use in media, with people, politicians, everything. And we've already laid the foundation with our first 2 episodes and what they're up to, even giving somewhat of a timeline in episode 2. And so just remember that will be at 8 a.m. as always, on Monday, Central Standard Time. And we look forward to having you there. So if you don't want to miss episodes, or you're having a hard time finding episode 1, if you'll, join us by liking, subscribing, sharing, and making sure you click on that bell to receive notifications, you'll always know, and you'll always be able to find it. And we appreciate your support. Make sure you give us a 5-star review out there that helps us to spread out farther, so that our whole pilgrim's journey here, all of us together, can be heard to a greater capacity. Because the algorithm then sees that it needs to be shared with more people. That's how these crazy technological things work. But anyway, I hope everybody has an excellent weekend. I know I plan to. My brother will be up here, and we plan to do some recordings because he's a bass player and he's great. And in the meantime, peace out, everybody, and don't forget you are stewards in this earth. Lift your lanterns high, light your light, and walk your long road with the rest of us pilgrims out there. See ya.